everybody, welcome back. Happy Tuesday. How did yesterday go? Hopefully you guys were able to look over that slideshow and learn a little bit more about what it means to live in a dystopian society versus a utopian society, what it means for a book to be science fiction, what kind of person the author is, and all of that kind of stuff. So today I'm excited because we're going to be starting to read the book together, and we're going to start out by reading chapters 1 and 2 of the book. And I didn't mention yesterday, so I'll mention today. For every chapter, there is a text version, so a version you can read on your device. And I've also provided an audio version of every chapter as well from a YouTube video that I found that goes chapter by chapter. So you guys can decide if you would rather just read it, just listen to it, or a combination of both. Think about what works best for you when you're in my class normally, and do the same thing at home. Personally, I like to listen to books and kind of have the text in front of me while I read as well. Some of you might really not like listening. You might just like reading it on your own because then you can go at your own pace. So it's totally up to you. As long as you're reading it, you can choose either option. So if you are looking at the text version of the book, it starts on page 1 and it goes to page 19 today. So we'll be reading a little under 20 pages. And if you're listening to the audio version of the chapters, each chapter is around between 10 and 15 minutes. So it should take you maybe 20 or 25 minutes to read both chapters today. And once you're done reading the chapters, you're going to be working on questions for chapters 1 and 2 and turning those questions in. Now, the questions have directions on the top of the page in Classroom, but just remember to use races, just restate an answer for each question. There is one question at the bottom of the page that's called a digging deeper question, where I want you to provide an example from the text. So that could either be just an example in your own words, or it could be a quote that you find in the text version of the novel. So for most of the questions, it's totally fine just to write one sentence, restate, and answer, kind of like we would for review and assess questions. But for that last question, try to go a little deeper, try to write more than one sentence there. Okay, so let's preview the chapters. In these chapters, I'm not going to give anything away. I'm just going to kind of set it up for you so you know what to expect a little bit. You are going to be meeting the main character, and his name is Jonas. You're also going to be meeting Jonas's sister Lily and their parents. So these chapters are mainly focused on just Jonas's family, and we'll get to learn kind of how their home life is, how Jonas's personal life is, what he does during the day, and things like that. There are some interesting things for you guys to know about, and you'll recognize these as you start reading the book. But I want to let you guys know ahead of time so that you're not reading the book like, what are they talking about? Okay, so I'll let you know ahead of time. So one thing about the society is they categorize children based on their age. So if you hear them talking about like 7s, they're talking about 7-year-old kids, and they kind of categorize them in a group. If you hear them talking about 11s, which Jonas is an 11, that means they're talking about 11-year-old kids, and so on. So don't be thrown off by that kind of language, okay? Another thing that's kind of weird that we start getting some hints about in the first 2 chapters is there are no animals in this society. So people don't know what the word animal means. They use it, but they don't really know what an animal is or anything like that. So kind of weird, something to think about. The other thing that I want you guys to kind of think about as you're reading is there are many rules in this society. So we talked about yesterday how in a perfect society, a lot of times there is no freedom and there's no choice for people. So instead, those things are replaced with lots and lots of rules. And I'm not going to tell you what all the rules are. I want you to be thinking about them as you read and try to recognize them as you go through both of these chapters. Finally, to end this video, I've got 2 questions for you to think about as you go into reading the book. The first question sounds kind of random, but I promise it's relevant. What do you look forward to in the month of December? Okay. In the book, there is something that happens every December for kids that might be different than what you guys think of when I say December. So we'll talk about that more tomorrow, but think about it. The other question is, what if you had to give up all your friends at age 12? So all the friends that you've made up to this point in your life, whether you're 12 or 13, what if you had to give them all up? What would you do? How would you feel? Oh, I actually have one more question too, I just thought of. So in the book, they use the word released. And you might have an idea when you hear that word of maybe an image that comes to mind or a definition or something like that. What do you think it means for the characters in this book? Released. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Good luck reading the 2 chapters and answering the questions. Don't forget to turn them in. And if you have any questions or anything today, make sure you email me or send me a message on Remind, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.